To be honest, if babies wanted to burn down my business, I'd be for aborting them. This is where me and Sass can come together. If we had rioting babies, we can abort those babies. How about that, Sass? We can come together on this one. Nice switcheroo. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not. I think that was a pretty good... I think that was a salient point. I don't think people need to be killed, but if you're looting a business, you better damn well keep in mind the owner might have a shotgun. Yeah, for sure. Like, seriously, I broke into houses for a long time. I literally broke into houses for a living and, like, stole stuff. I was a professional thief for a good minute. And I expected, like, every time I went into somebody's house that if there was somebody there, they were going to kill me. Like, I fully expected that literally every single time I went inside. So it's... Like anybody who's going to burn down a building or loot or, you know, destroy somebody's property, they should be assuming that they're going to get shot. I kind of wish I knew hardcore criminal Tom. No, you don't, dude. That dude was strung out. That dude, I mean, he was a lot of fun. He was a lot of fun, but he was going to get you in trouble too, man. He's very good with the rhetoric, so he's convincing all of his friends to get strung out on dope as well and come help him rob all the places and come help him with his criminal enterprise. So he got all of his friends in trouble as well. Although when Tom got arrested, when I got arrested, all of my friends took off to other states. So you can still see parts of him like, I don't care if that pool is closed, man. I'm just going to use it. Did I say that? All right, so back to the panel, just giving you some background information. Destiny and Vivian have been very cool for a long time, and then this comes out where all of a sudden he starts calling her just like Lauren Southern, right? Let's rewind it just 100%. A little bit.
The problem is that people like you, Vivian, and other people on the left that have these huge ideological narratives don't even bother to look at the facts of the case. The reason why 2 people are dead in the Rittenhouse riots is directly because of people like you that stoke the flames and get people upset about policing in the United States over cases where the police were 100% in the right. You are engaging in a form of stochastic terrorism when you were on here.
That's actually very true. It's the same people who were like, hey, we should be able to attack Kyle Rittenhouse and beat the crap out of him and hit him over the head with a skateboard and point a gun at him. But if he has a gun, he shouldn't shoot anybody back. Yeah, like, that's very true. I don't know, like, there's no way to reason with people with these sorts of opinions on these cases. Like, I don't know what to do. It was dark that night, and those chickens were Russells. I miss Motel Tom personally, the chicken wrestler. Those freaking dogs, dude, they were so loud. They took off to other states. Man, you're going to be like one of those movie characters when one of those old crew shows up while you're walking the straight and narrow path, and it will be dramatic. I've always wanted, like, I tried writing a book out of it when I was younger, but I really sucked at writing back then. I'm much better at it now that I've, like, done communications classes, and I've thought about starting over. I just don't have time for that, but I would, and that's why we have story time here on the Tom Foolery show, where I go back and tell people some crazy stories about back in the day when I used to do something crazy, but... yeah, it's I've always thought like I could definitely turn my life into a movie. Like the way that I grew up, like as the good Christian kid, the middle child, then getting involved in drugs, like hot girlfriends. One of them was like literally modeling when I was that age and going through all of that stuff, and she got strung out on drugs as well, and I was like a football player and a basketball player in all county and in the newspaper and stuff. And then I just drop out and decide to go sell drugs full time and start college early and get my GED. And then eventually stop doing that as well. And just kind of like start my own, like drug dealing squad with a bunch of my friends, and we start robbing people and we start doing all sorts, the drugs that we're on just keep getting harder and harder. And then eventually I go to prison, and get charged with racketeering and everybody disappears. So yeah, I think it would definitely turn into a really good movie, or like a TV show at least. I think it like we need to deal with HBO.
Stoking these flames just as much as somebody like Lauren Southern does. I need you to understand that you are the exact same type of person. You are exactly the same as her. I need you to understand that, Vivian. You are exactly the same as somebody like Lauren Southern when you're on here stoking the flames. 100.
So Vivian was laughing while he's saying these things at first, but until he said, "You're exactly like Lauren Southern," she stopped laughing and was like, "Wait, no, that's BS." Like, she didn't like that. She didn't like that one. Yeah, as B. Hiller said, Vivian's a friend of the show, so we can all be nice. We can all make, good critiques of Vivian without, all of the stupid stuff along with it. I like Viv, but the I can't disagree with Destiny here when it comes to like stochastic terrorism, and especially the amount of people who get accused of stochastic terrorism from very small things. I would say that like definitely people who encouraged Antifa stuff, Antifa violence, BLM violence, BLM rioting, like anybody who didn't like very clearly denounce this sort of stuff is probably taking part in some stochastic terrorism. Don't terrorists wait. The chat keeps moving. Don't terrorists give their blessing to shoot people? Oh, that's not, no, don't do that. That's not, they give their blessing to shoot innocent people, yes, but the people that Destiny was giving his blessing to shoot were not innocent. Okay, glad you're in a better place now, Tom. We all have made mistakes in our past. Wow, you got a racketeering charge. You were going hard. Yeah, well, they didn't actually get me on it. It was kind of bullcrap. I mean, I guess, I suppose they could have gotten me on it, but they never had nearly enough evidence to charge me with that. So I got charged with 17 counts of, I think it was 14 counts of debit card theft and debit card fraud, and so it was 7 counts of debit card theft, 7 counts of debit card fraud, and 3 counts of residential burglaries. Now, they only got me on 3 counts of residential burglaries. They literally could have gotten me on like 60. Truly. Like, they could have gotten me on like 60. They could have gotten me on so many. But, like, every day while I'm in jail, they initially arrest me on one thing, right? Racketeering, that's it. While I'm in jail, they would come wake me up in the middle of the night to give me fingerprints and telling me, hey, you've got new charges. The police chief was actually really good friends with my girlfriend's dad. And my girlfriend's dad was like going around and doing his own investigations and like going and giving the information to the police chief. And apparently, I think it was like something like the police chief wasn't even, or nobody else in the police organization was allowed to investigate my charges except for the chief, because he was part of the GBI. He was heading the GBI at the time. So only the police chief in my county was the only person who was allowed to investigate my case. And he happened to be friends with my girlfriend's dad. So, what would you say changed your mind the most on how you decided to live it? How to live my mind? Live your mind. Yeah. Like how to make me change my life. It was, so I got arrested on something else like drug charges or something like that. And I did 6 months. Then I got out for 2 weeks, but I didn't want to be out. And I was kind of upset that I was out. And like because when I was locked up for 6 months, I was clean. I was happy that I was clean. I was on workforce, and I was productive, and I was able to get a lot done. And then all of a sudden I get back out and I'm right back doing heroin, right back selling heroin, right back stealing stuff. And so I was actually like insanely reckless at this point, like insanely reckless, and wanted to just go back to jail. And so when they finally came back to arrest me for racketeering, I was happy that I was getting arrested again and that I was going to be back in jail for longer. And like I felt like it was just, I just needed a lot of time away from everybody. I needed a lot of time. Like when I was locked up for 6 months, everybody was still around. Everybody was fine. Like nobody cared. They didn't, they knew that I wasn't going to give anybody up. But when I got arrested for racketeering, I told everybody, I was like, yo, if they actually come back at me for like a federal charge or something bigger, like y'all need to disappear. Because it seems as though people are following us. It seems as though like they want me for something bigger. And so when they came back and arrested me for racketeering, everybody disappeared and moved to different states. And most of them never came back. I still keep in touch with some of them today, but yeah, most of them disappeared and never came back. There were like 6 of us. But yeah, I just needed to be I just needed to be locked up for a long time. I needed to be away for a while, and eventually I was gone for 13 months. This is the time that the cop shattered my kneecap, came up behind me and attacked me and tried to kill me and shattered my kneecap. But I like that time when I got out, I was clean for maybe 2 or 3 months, and I was doing fine. I couldn't find a job, but when you got a long record like that, that's kind of to be expected. And I was definitely I had some institutionalized problems. Like it had been locked up for, I was locked up for 6 months, out for 2 weeks, locked up for 13 months. So it was a total of 19 months. If you don't include that 2 weeks that I was out. And I was kind of institutionalized at the time, because normally you wouldn't be institutionalized for such a short amount of time, but I was so young and had been on drugs pretty hardcore since I was 16, since I was 15. And so at the point when I was 18, 19 and getting arrested and then not getting out till I was 20 or 21, that was it was really hard because everybody else that I knew had gone to college in that time and gotten a degree and started a career and gotten married and started their lives. And I get out and I'm still in this high school mentality, and I was having trouble re-assimilating into the world and figuring out how to be an adult and how to act around people and how to be normal and how to be productive and not try to swindle everybody and not to lie to everybody, not to see everybody as a mark and not to see everybody as somebody that I needed to play to get something out of them. It took a long time for me to relearn how to be around people in general. And so for the most part, I just stayed away from everybody. I just kind of stayed in my room all day, every day, just filling out applications that were never going to call me back because they all asked if you had felonies on the application. So, yeah, I was very institutionalized at the time and really had trouble wrapping my mind around who I was and who I was supposed to be. And over time, it is kind of when I got really good at adjusting things that I didn't like about myself. And so I was able to find different characteristics that I didn't like about myself and adjust those things inside of my head. And so if I thought I kind of get excited sometimes because of my ADHD, and I can start to get a little bit of obnoxious sometimes. And I've noticed this about myself. So I'm going to start to tone down my personality and tone down my, how excited I get sometimes, or I would notice sometimes I was lying for literally no reason. There was absolutely no reason for me to tell a lie, but I would just be lying, just making stuff up, and I'd think, why did I trap myself like this? Now I got to go stick to this freaking lie every time I'm around this person. Why did I say that? So then I had to adjust that and actually go back and start telling people I'm sorry, I lie sometimes. I'm trying to get better at it, but I shouldn't have said that. I had to fix so many things about myself and fix so many different character traits that over the course of 5-6 years, I felt I actually fixed everything that I needed to fix and became who I wanted to be. And became a better person for it. And I I it was only recently that I looked back and realized most people don't do that. Like I didn't know this, but it was only recently that I looked back and realized most people don't like pick apart their own personality in the way that their brain works, in the way that their brain reacts to things. They don't notice all of these things and become like super internalized in the way that they judge themselves and then fix those things. Like it was only recently that I realized everybody doesn't do that crap. So I had to but I was very like distanced from everybody for a very long time. So like I had a couple of girlfriends early on, and then just like kind of realized I think each one of them were for like a year or so, and then eventually realized like, dude, I am so screwed up as a person. Like I have absolutely no business like being in a relationship with somebody else, and making them like put up with my freaking bullcrap. So I didn't have another girlfriend for maybe like 6 to 7 years until I met Rose. And we were together for about 3.5 years. So, like that entire process of like fixing myself and becoming somebody else was a very long process. And it I had to really sacrifice a lot in order to do that, in order to just like truly focus on myself and like do something else. Like I know a lot of people who will say things like, yeah, I'm not going to date for a month or two. I really just need to focus on myself. I'm like, what are you going to do in 2 months, dude? What do you mean focus on yourself for 2 months? What the hell are you going to do with 2 months? Like you need 5-6 years, bro. Like, but yeah, I never used again. After I got out of jail the first time, after I got out of jail the last time, I haven't used again. I think I'm somewhere around like 12 years clean now, 11 years clean now. I did 10 and a half years of probation. I had 2 10-year probations run concurrent by the time I finished all of my stints in prison. So, I just finished those while I was with Rose. There was a lot of things that I had to fix. And I don't think if I hadn't been through all of that and I hadn't actually gone through the processes that I did to change myself, I don't think that I would have the same critical mindset that I do now, in the way that I look at things now, in the way that I pick things apart now. I don't think that I would have all of that. I don't think that I would have the ability to really understand. And a lot of times when we go through ethical thought processes on here and I read some of the things that other people say, well, a lot of times my first thought is oh, well, these people probably haven't been through as much freaking bullcrap as I've been through. So I can't expect everybody to come to the same conclusions as I have, because they probably haven't actually experienced things like this before. And so I have to find a way to actually explain it to them in a way that they would actually understand. But when we talk about privilege and crap like that, growing up insanely poor my entire life, being a heroin addict, going to prison, getting attacked by guards, getting my knees shattered, having an impossible task to find jobs after getting out, being just truly kind of a crappy person after that, all of these things, they turn you into somebody completely different than you ever could have possibly have been in a more privileged scenario, and where you just grew up, went to school, went to college, got a degree. Maybe I would have been better off financially, but I definitely would not be the person that I am today. And I'm really happy with who I am today. I'm really happy with who I've turned into. So 2 months is all you need when you're shallow. Yeah, that's tremendous growth. You're right. Most people that are put in that spot never get straight, and they end up back in the clink. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends died. Some of them while I was locked up. Some of them more recently. Lots of my friends are still struggling with addiction today, and so they all still have their problems and their struggles, and it's sad to see. And I tell them sometimes, dude, just go murder somebody or something. Just just kidding, but get locked up for a while, dude. Some people need different time, like different dryness of wood. Some are dry and burn easy. Some are wet and need to be dried out. Yeah, yeah, maybe. Figuring yourself out, your real self, is hard work. Yeah, man, I'm glad you became who you are. Well, I appreciate that. Just go murder somebody. Yeah, true. Best advice I ever got.